So hello everyone, welcome back to Oliveboard Regulatory Bodies and welcome to your NABARD Grade A 2024 complete course in which we are starting ARD classes from today. So this is your first session. Don't worry, just relax, no need for any notes because today we are just going to see about ARD section and I'll give you a brief orientation session about overall NABARD Grade A exam. Okay, we'll not talk about phase 1 examination specifically, but we'll more talk about how ARD is important for clearing phase 2 examination as well as phase 1 examination. Okay, so as for this complete course you all would be preparing for 2024 exam, we can expect the notification in this July and the examination for phase 1 NABARD Grade A 2024 will happen on most probably 1st of September, and then you can expect your phase 2 examination to happen it in October. So these are the dedicated dates. Now let us directly jump into the overall the importance of ARD and little bit strategy about how we are going to further go through our overall course, what is the schedule, everything we'll discuss today. Okay, so first let me start the discussion with why today we'll be looking at the importance of ARD and how overall the course will further go on. We will have daily lectures now for ARD and we will try to finish this course within 2 months. Okay, so first let me talk about NABARD exam. 3 stages are there: phase 1, then comes phase 2, and then comes interview. So when we talk about these 3 stages, we have to understand that phase 1 examination, when we are talking about, this examination is elimination stage or selection stage, in which I hope that you all know that in this you have to clear overall cutoff also and sectional cutoffs are also there. Here in total in phase 1 there are 8 subjects. What are these subjects? First is quant, second is reasoning, then decision making, English, computer. These 5 subjects are called as qualifying subjects. Each of these subjects are having individual sectional or subjective cutoff, and then there are 3 subjects, that is first is GA, ARD and your ESI. These are your merit subjects. Now we are talking about only phase 1 only. So when we talk about these first 5 subjects, quant is for 20 marks, reasoning is for 20 marks, decision making for 10 marks, English for 30 marks, and again computer for 20 marks. And then comes GA for 20 marks, ARD for 40 marks, ESI for 40 marks. Now look at the phase 1 very clearly. You will understand that for each of these sections or subjects, quant, reasoning, decision making, English, computer, GA, ARD, ESI, each of these subject or section, sectional individual subjective cutoff would be there. Now these top 5 subjects, in total there are 8 subjects. Top 5 subjects which I have written at the top, these are qualifying subjects. Qualifying in the sense, simple, here it doesn't matter that how much high you are scoring, you just have to clear the cutoff, bare minimum cutoff. For example, the decision making cutoff last year for NABARD Grade A 2023 was just 1.5 marks or 1 mark out of 10 marks. Similarly, quant cutoff was just 1.5 marks out of 20 marks. So here you just have to clear these sectional or subjective cutoffs. Your overall marks will not be considered when a total overall cutoff is there. Total overall cutoff, that is merit cutoff, will be of only these 3 subjects: GA, ARD and ESI. It means that if you want to go from phase 1 to phase 2, you have to clear individual quant cutoff, reasoning cutoff, individual decision making cutoff, individual English cutoff, individual computer awareness cutoff. You have to just clear the bare minimum cutoff, that's it, your work is done. And then in next 3 subjects or sections, that is GA, ARD and ESI, you not only have to clear individual cutoffs of these subjects, but also you have to score high. For example, a student gets in GA 10 marks, in ARD he gets 30 marks, and in ESI he gets 30 marks, in total 70 marks. You clear the overall merit cutoff of phase 1, because last year merit cutoff was 54 marks and if 54, 50, 53 marks. Okay, so the overall merit cutoff, that is overall cutoff for NABARD Grade A phase 1, it's from 50 to 60. If you want to clear that, of course, only 3 subjects are there, merit subjects, that is GA, ARD and ESI, from which you have to grab the marks. We have to score high. We have to get as much as marks we can. Whereas in this first 5 subjects, that is qualifying subjects, you just have to clear the bare minimum cutoffs. Phase 2. In phase 2, there are 2 papers, paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1 is English descriptive, which has 3 questions for total 100 marks. So paper 1 is of total 100 marks. 3 questions are there. First is essay, second is précis, and third is letter writing, LR. Okay. So the first paper is more of checking your comprehension and paraphrasing skills. Okay. So if your comprehension is well, if your answer writing is well, definitely you can score high. Then comes phase 2. Phase 2, paper 2. Phase 2, paper 2, when we are talking about, here your objective assessment as well as subjective assessment is there for both of the subjects, ESI as well as ARD. So here this paper 2 from phase 2 is also for 100 marks. 50% is MCQ and 50% is descriptive. That is, from this 100 marks for paper 2 phase 2, 50 MCQs would be there, 50 marks, and 50 marks descriptive would be there. Now this 50 marks, whatever objective or MCQs are there, 25 marks will be given for ESI and 25 for ARD. In this 25, if you see the total number of questions, 30 MCQs are there. How much MCQs are there? 30 MCQs, 30 questions. So 15 questions for ARD, 15 questions for ESI. For each of the subject, 10 questions will be for 2 marks. 10 to the 20. So for ARD, 22 marker MCQs, 20 marks. Number of questions, 10 questions for 2 marks, which gives 20 marks for ARD. And 5 questions for 1 mark, which gives 5 marks, total 25 marks. So ARD for 25 marks objective. Similarly, ESI for 25 marks objective. In descriptive part, you will be given total 6 questions. 3 questions which are for 15 marker and 3 questions which are for 10 marker. 3 questions which are for 15 marker, you have to write any 2 questions out of those 3 15 marker question. And you have to write any 2 out of those 3 10 marker questions. So in total, you will be provided 6 questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. First 3 are for 15 marks, you have to write any 2. Next 3 are for 10 marks, you have to write any 2. So 15 plus 15, 30, and again here 10 plus 10, 20, 30 plus 20, 50. Similarly, here first whatever 6 questions are there, those would be equally distributed between ESI and ARD. For example, first 3 15 marker questions what we are talking about, suppose 2 are from ARD and 1 is from ESI. The next 10 marker questions whatever are there, 2 would be from ESI and 1 would be from ARD. This shows you that overall for phase 1, if you want to clear and score high, then also ARD is there, because 40 marks ARD is there in your merit section. And in phase 2 also, if you consider paper 2, then 50% marks out of 100 marks, 50 marks are from ARD. Not only this, if you see your paper 1 in which essay would be there for 30 marks, 100% there is a compulsory essay which is based on agriculture topic. That means it will never happen in NABARD exam that an agricultural specific topic essay has not come. Always in every year go through the previous year questions, there is always an agriculture based topic of which essay is given. So in total, if you see, maximum 80 marks are there for your agriculture and rural development, and minimum if you see only paper 2 in phase 2, 50 marks, that is 50 out of 100, 50 ESI, 50 ARD. This shows you the importance of agriculture and rural development. ARD section in phase 1, that's why here it has been written, it is 40 marks. These 40 marks are very essential. Now why? Because ESI is very dynamic in nature. You don't know which government scheme would be asked. You don't know which data and fact would be asked. You don't know that which government scheme or which PIB news is that important, and moreover, when dynamic topics are considered, it is very difficult to actually anticipate those questions. If you have covered 6 to 8 months of current affairs, it is also a big task to revise that. So how to 100% be sure that I'll be clearing phase 1 without any hesitation? The only solution is, because ARD 40 questions would be completely static in nature, only 5 questions maximum will come from current affairs or a dynamic which are related to a ministry, any government scheme of Ministry of Agriculture, etc. But remaining 35 questions which can actually help you to clear out overall merit cutoff or overall cutoff in NABARD phase 1, that comes directly from the low hanging fruits which are from ARD section. These 40 marks, why we always tell student to concentrate is that if you always see the phase 1 examination, ESI always as being dynamic in nature, it is difficult if you are not doing it properly. Also, many of the students for NABARD start their preparation journey in last 2 to 3 months. It is very difficult for them to cover every news which is of past 6 to 8 months. For them, ARD becomes a wise choice because out of 40 questions, 20 questions are very easy and moderate level. 10 questions are of moderate to difficult level, and only 5 to 10 questions are such which would be nut cracking or maybe would be having more data oriented and factuality in their nature. Overall, it is very easy, and in last 3 to 4 years we have seen that anybody, a decent reader, even if he is doing 1 to 2 time revision of agriculture and rural development subject for NABARD, then he gets 25 plus marks at ease. Next, static portion has more weightage as compared to current affairs portion which happens in ESI. In recent years also, if you see the past year paper or previous year questions, you will see that most of the questions will come from highly repetitive chapters like animal husbandry, agronomy, fisheries, then it comes related to horticulture. Okay, such questions always will be repeating. Not only chapters but topics also repeat more commonly. Most of the static ARD questions of phase 1 are easy and moderate, and it is very easy to get 25 plus marks. Not only that, descriptive questions which are added, it requires overall good understanding and awareness about agriculture and rural areas. If you are having that, it becomes very easy to write a good essay on agriculture and rural development, write good questions and descriptive part also, and thus a ace in the overall phase 1 and phase 2 preparation. This is how ARD is very, very important for you. How will now this particular course help you? Understanding agriculture is very, very easy because since childhood, even if you are a student from city or even rural area, awareness is such a thing which we always absorb from our surrounding. The basic chapters which are included, if you see, the name agriculture doesn't mean general, the graduating agriculture or PhD agriculture. The name of the subject in NABARD Grade A 2024 is agriculture and rural development. So general agricultural topics like horticulture, animal husbandry are asked. These topics and concepts are such which you have one or other time crossed in your 9th, 10th, 11th biology or maybe science classes. So it would be very easy if you are having analytical mind, interest about knowing the Indian agriculture and geography, then this is your subject to score and clear NABARD this year. Multidimensional and interdisciplinary approach is there in agriculture. You have to connect multiple dimensions like market, geography, and you have to connect them together so as to understand the points well. The descriptive questions which are asked, for example, I can take an example of what is social forestry and what are advantages and disadvantages of social forestry, which is a previous year question of last 2 years, 2022 and 2023. If I ask this question to you guys, many of the students would be at least able to tell me that what social forestry means to them. Social forestry. Forestry, it is nothing but plantation of forests and utilization of livelihood based on the forest, which is associated with a social group like village, town. even if you try to associate such definition which you don't know, see, we are almost 80% correct here. This means that here you require analytical approach and more importantly awareness. Even if you are aware, if you know the things, if you are habituated with multidimensionality and interdisciplinary approach, I think you will love this subject. We have seen that either if you are from non-agriculture and non-commerce background, even if you are from commerce background, there are people who fall in love with this subject. And that is why this is one of the best subject to go for and clear NABARD Grade A Phase 1 and Phase 2 together. See, I'm not saying that ESI is one subject which is very difficult and you should not do it. No, the strategy should be very equal to do ESI also, to do ARD also. But a wise aspirant will do in such a way that ARD seems to be very doable subject than ESI. Many RBI Grade B students will be also knowing this, that ESI subject is very dynamic and current affairs oriented. You can do it on daily basis. But ARD is such a subject where if in last 2 to 3 months, if you are giving 2 hours on daily basis, this subject can do wonders for you. Maybe there, if you see the toppers mark sheets also, which I will be sharing with you very soon, if you go through them, the biggest scoring subject for them was not ESI, was not English, but rather ARD. Because agriculture and rural development, there are easy points to collect if you are definitely knowing this multidimensional and interdisciplinary approach. Other thing is that exam oriented preparation and beyond the exam understanding. You are joining NABARD Grade A and becoming a NABARD Grade A officer. When you are joining an institution which is an foremost apex financial and rural development institution, definitely if you are understanding agriculture better, it will create an foundation which you can definitely help for your future endeavors. Now, how will this course help you? First thing is easy to understand language and structured approach in each chapter. Okay, so easy to understand language and structured approach in each chapter. When I'm talking about, see, each whatever lecture would be there, whatever lecture is there, do not consider that agriculture and rural development, I don't know this subject, agriculture is new to me. All the topics would be tried to cover in very easy language. The structure and the overall whatever lecture plan has been given to you for all the chapters has been aligned in such a way that it would be very easy to understand. Every notes of the classes have been given to you. Previous year questions are also practiced in each of your notes as well as lectures wherever required. Complete coverage of syllabus would be there, and not only this, but always whatever content, whatever we will be providing, we will also show you that through infographics, pictorial diagrams, so that you can associate those things well. Second thing, before starting the preparation, go through by heart and simplified syllabus provided at the end of each chapter. Always remember, for agriculture and rural development, the most important thing is many students come to the lectures, they watch the lectures like stories, because we try to provide knowledge in such a way for agriculture and rural development specifically that students love it. But the problem is, after lecture, are you able to revise it? So therefore, reading, revising and repeating that process is very, very important. Next. Now let me come towards the overall orientation and how our lectures are going to be. So ARD for NABARD Grade A, if you see section and chapter, today's class was about NABARD and about ARD section. So one thing to understand, for phase 1, why is ARD important? For merit cutoff. Okay. For phase 2, why ARD is important? For scoring high. Okay. So in this way, how ARD is very, very important for your selection in NABARD Grade A exam. Not only this, I already told you that NABARD is an institution which is connected to agriculture and rural areas. Your final stage of selection is interview, and you cannot forget that. And in interview, the interview panel always try to ask you the questions which are associated with agriculture domain. Considering that tomorrow you are going to be an Grade A officer, that is assistant manager, who will be looking after rural development and agriculture sector, he should have knowledge of agriculture. Don't you think so? So that is why this subject has not only importance for your exam selection or clearing the exam, but the importance of this subject is beyond the exam. Try to understand that. Our second most important and the first important chapter is basics of agriculture. Simple, we will start with orientation, that is introduction to agriculture and overview of agriculture in India. Basic, simple, preliminary chapter in which we will try to discuss what is agriculture, what are its branches, etc. Then comes agronomy. First important chapter which shows its definition, scope, crops, classification, production factors, agroclimatic zones, concept of tillage, then weed sciences, seed sciences, etc. We will cover only those topics which are asked in the NABARD Grade A exam. We will not be covering those topics which are not important and more importantly which will waste our time. Again I will repeat, this is not the syllabus of agricultural stream which major of the graduates are doing in the country. This is the syllabus or this is the overall curriculum of NABARD Grade A complete course agriculture and rural development subject. So clearing overall exam, this is our intention. In each of these sections or chapters, we will try to cover only those topics which will help us clear the exam, not vice versa. And these topics, whatever are there, if these topics are very important, of course we will try to give you as much as knowledge possible, but we will never go out of our limits because agriculture is a subject which has no limit. And therefore, within a stipulated time, it is our duty to cover the syllabus in time. Farming system. First thing is overview and types of farming system. Dryland agriculture and its problems, precision farming and organic farming. So our third chapter, farming systems, will tell us more about how agriculture is based on different occupational paradigms, such as first, what is dryland agriculture, what are different ways of doing farming, what are different ways of doing agriculture, okay, what are the new branches which are coming in the farming system, okay. When agriculture is just a scientific habit, okay, or scientific methodology to do the plantation of crops, farming is nothing but socio-economic and scientific way of doing the cultivation, okay. So both are different. This is where agriculture, farming is different. Then comes cropping system, breaking down farming system into cropping system. We know now in the third chapter that how different types of farmings are there or different types of agricultural practices are there. Now in cropping system we will be learning about in these practices, in these farming systems, what are the different ways of plantation. This is what we will be looking at. Then comes meteorology. In meteorology we will be looking more about how climate is associated with agriculture. Soil and water conservation, we will be looking at how different essential factors are there. Those factors affect agriculture and vice versa. For example, climate, soil, water, okay. Overall, these are the multiple factors which affect your overall cropping, cultivation, okay, etc. Productivity, yield also, such terms also we will definitely follow. We will try to cover as much as topics and we will connect multiple topics together. For example, when we are learning agronomy, we will try to connect it with the climate, that is meteorology. When we are learning farming system, we will try to connect it with cropping system. So don't worry, the lessons and the overall subject which we are looking at agriculture and rural development, it's very interesting. And all the first 5 lectures are already free available for you so that you can watch those how we are trying to teach in our course. Then comes water resources management. So overall, the role of irrigation in agriculture. Then plantation. From here we start the breaking down of agriculture into its sub branches. What are the sub branches of agriculture? So horticulture, plantation. Then comes animal husbandry, then comes fisheries, forestry. These are the sub branches. Agronomy, this is the sub branch. So horticulture, in which we will be looking at what is pomology, what is olericulture, fruits cultivation, flower cultivation, okay, floriculture. Then how engineering and how different machineries and mechanizations help agriculture to improve its productivity. Animal husbandry, what is the role of livestock in agriculture? Then overall animal husbandry and livestock together and how it is improving the agricultural production. Fisheries, forestry, how forestry is different from plantation, how does agricultural cultivation, farming and forestry together done in coherence. Then comes agricultural extension, what is agricultural education, ecology and climate change. So with changing climate, what are the different steps we have taken towards improvisation of agriculture and overall climate resilient agriculture. You have heard these terms in the newspapers, am I right? Then comes recent developments in agriculture. So what are the recent scenarios, current affairs associated, that we can definitely have in our overall that we can have in this particular chapter. And then we will start rural development and Panchayati Raj institution to end the particular classes. Rural development, we will be looking at overall data and the concept of overall structure of rural economy. We'll be also looking at overall demographic and social characteristics of the rural areas. We'll be looking at more data and orientations to understand what is the real state of the workforce, occupations, different occupations in the rural areas. And then we will be moving out towards the Panchayati Raj institution and associated schemes related to rural development and PRI. Okay, in this way we will try to complete our overall syllabus for agriculture and rural development. I hope that in this particular session you were able to definitely understand the importance of agriculture and rural development, as well as go through important topics which we are going to cover in our upcoming lecture. If you have seen this particular lecture, don't stop here. Tomorrow join again at the same time, where we will start our first lecture, which is, as I told you, basics of agriculture or introduction to Indian agriculture. So meet you there. Thank you very much. And if you are a student who is preparing for NABARD Grade A 2024, our complete course is already on our platform. Go and check out the course and get enrolled so that you have this very innovative classes live which are going from today. Thank you very much. See you next time.